I never told this one before. You want to know how I found out I got traded? I was at Chick-fil-A. You know Chick-fil-A?
I'm familiar.
We finished up morning skate. We had our bit of a blowout in the locker room in Watertown that morning. And I said, practice is done. Everybody's leaving. I'm going to go get a sandwich. So I walked about 30 minutes down the road, the old Boot Scoot Boogie, Heel Toe Express, my B&W, Bus Metro Walk, down to the Chick-fil-A. I got 3 original sandwiches with Chick-fil-A sauce. As I took my first bite, my new general manager calls me. Welcome to the team. That's true. He FaceTimed me. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm eating. What are you doing? We traded for you. You remember the Seawolves now. So that's actually a true story. I found out at Chick-fil-A. I got traded twice at Chick-fil-A.
It's amazing how we got more details about the meal than we did about the conversation. It's funny how memories will trigger you that way.
Wait, do you want to know what the conversation?
Well, I just think it's funny that you focused on the meal more so than the conversation.
Well, I'll tell you this one then, because since we're on the topic, I haven't really talked about any pro stories in a while, but we had our little blow up in the locker room in Watertown that day, and sitting down with the general manager, and I said, I think the writing's on the wall. I think that you guys should trade me. I think if we could find a way for me to move on and you guys to kind of get me out here, I think everybody wins, and the sooner we do that, the better. I think everybody wins. And so general manager asked, where do you want to go? I said, I want to go play for the Jackie Moon of pro sports, which means there's 2 teams. Well, 1.5 technically. And he said, well, he doesn't do trades with us. I said, I'm sure you can find a way. And then ended up calling a third party who then negotiated that deal to call the Jackie Moon of pro hockey, Mr. Joe Pace. And then boom, I was a Mississippi Seawolf later that afternoon while I was taking the first bite of my original chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A.
Not to spoil anything, but we had an interview with Chris Mason, which is part of our summer series. Yep. And he mentioned something about how, the domino effect about, like guys getting moved here in the beginning of the season and training camp and 10 games. And it's funny how things filter all the way down. I mean, from the NHL making their cut, sending guys back down to the American League or the Western League, and that forces players to get bumped down to major or a junior A tier 2, which affects mid AAA, which affects the FP. And I mean, it's incredible how it just, one little move up here can cause chaos all the way down.
Well, and actually, the reason why I got accepted traded, and the trade was accepted by Mississippi was because they had a goalie get called up to the SP. So right as they were calling to trade me, they had a spot open up. So fantastic timing. And then, unfortunately, I went there, and then less than 2 weeks later, the guy came back down. It's like, we got to get rid of somebody, dude. And then they got rid of me. And then, funny enough, he got dished again. And then they had a whole new goalie lineup like less than a month later. And that was that. And I tell people this all the time. I've spent a lot of time playing hockey, traveling, playing professional hockey, the traveling circuits of pro hockey. The greatest spot I ever played in was Biloxi, Mississippi. You cannot beat playing in the electric Mississippi Coast Coliseum, morning skate at 10, out by 11:30, walk out of the arena, across the parking lot, right on the beach. You can't beat it. It's the best place ever. The fans were
right
nice.
On the Gulf.
The chef, too, she was fantastic. I remember for our meal, she was having like brisket and smoked pulled pork, house-made cheesecake and apple crumble. And grits, too. She was the GOAT.
You know the story behind the Gulf of Mexico, right? As far as, how the theory about why it's there.
You mean the Gulf of America?
Whatever you want to call it. But the idea is that was the dinosaur killer. That was the asteroid that hit Earth that caused the destruction. And if you go down to the south part of the Gulf, into the Yucatan Peninsula down in Mexico, they have museums all the way along the coast of all the fossils they've found. They've never actually been down to the bottom of the Gulf. It's so deep. Like, when you look up at the moon, you see those craters? That's essentially what the Gulf of Mexico is. It's a giant crater that happened to be close enough that it just got filled in by all the ocean water. And so, yeah, the Gulf of Mexico, it's not as crystal clear as the Caribbean, which is beautiful if you're on the East Coast, down the eastern seaboard. But, man, the water is warm. You can usually walk out about 2 kilometers, nipple deep. It's nice and warm. Little cloudy, I think I can say, but, man, is that nice water.
Did I ever tell you about the gal I was seeing in Mississippi that pulled a gun on me, or no? Did I ever tell you about that one?
You've told me, but you haven't told me behind the microphone, so please feel free to share.
So when I was in Mississippi, obviously...
God love you red states, man. God love you.
So when I was in Mississippi, I got traded, and obviously we were all human beings. We want to find a little bit of companionship. Everybody wants to be loved, myself included. And I found a nice gal. We ended up seeing each other for a very short period of time. And I think actually we got waxed against Columbus. I think they spanked us. It was like 6-0, 7-0 halfway through the game. And so I'm opening the door with my Spirit Fingers cheerleader. And I remember the Columbus guys are telling me, when are you going to get in? I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think they like me that much. I think I'm getting in. But funny enough, right behind the glass, I brought this missus, and I'm looking behind, giving her the old wave. Remember when I told you the best way to pick up gals as the backup goalie? Make eye contact, right? She sees the last name, eye contact. She'll lead, well, hopefully not lead prospects, but she'll Instagram you. Boom, find you out. So gal comes. We have our post-game meal, and we're hanging out afterwards. And I'm laying down watching TV. I think we were actually watching Dog the Bounty Hunter. And she says, I got something to show you. I'm like, oh, great. I'm looking forward to seeing this. She leans over, reaches under the bed, pulls out a gun. Check out my new gun. She's like waving it in my face. Like, I just got this the other day. Do you see this? I'm like, put this thing down. Like, you're waving this gun in my face.
Your Canadian is showing. What kind of gun was it?
It was like a handgun. I don't know, like a Magnum maybe? Like a pistol?
Okay, was it a Walther? Was it a Smith & Wesson? Like, did you get a brand for me? Because keep in mind, guns don't just come in one, shade. They're different manufacturers. It's like hockey sticks.
It was silver, shiny, and it's probably banned by our Liberal government here in Canada.
Was it big? Was it small? Did it take? Was
Maybe
it
like
a revolver?
This
did
big?
it have a?
The box was about this big.
Did it have a revolver on it? Like one of those things, like the old Western days, where every time a bullet would go, it would turn over, or was it something that would clip in the bottom?
I think it clipped in the bottom. I don't think it had a revolver.
Give me an idea of what the.
Yay big?
Okay, so probably looking at maybe a 9mm. Okay.
To anybody still listening to the show from my Biloxi, Mississippi days, can you help us with the gun identification? Actually, you know what? I made a joke to you on the golf course the other day. I want to be like Good Luck Chuck, the surgeon. Every gal he sleeps with, and she goes to find out.
By the way, that's a Dane Cook movie from the early 2000s. For those that don't remember, the idea is that every girl that he dated after they broke up, they would go out and find the man of their dreams.
I think I got 3 so far. I think I've dated 3 gals where the gal, after they moved on, they found their husband and gotten married to their forever man. And actually, she was one of them.
Look at you.
I'm setting people up for success.
You know what? Take that to the bank.
I prepped her. Now she's ready for you.
Ladies, there he is. You can swipe right or left or whatever it is, or up or down. I don't know how that works.
Dating market's interesting, man. Actually, I just got a photo shoot done for some updated marketing pics. The 2025 car can't have the 2023 pictures anymore, so we had to update the inventory, which is exciting times.
Yeah, I find that fascinating, man. The fact that photo shoots are being done for dating profiles, but I get it. I mean, I understand it. I don't get it being a Gen Xer, but I understand it.
It's so crazy because I feel like less than 10 years ago, dating apps were like, ooh, like you're a loser. You're on dating apps. Like, why don't you go out and like meet somebody like a real way? But now it's, at least for people in my generation, it's the only way you meet. We do a hockey podcast called Sling the Biscuit every single Sunday. The clips, the bite-sized chunks are right here. Only the hits, the full-length show, which you don't want to miss, is right here. That's Dave. I'm Travis. We'll see you soon.